what's up? This is BreakmanX, and welcome to the game show on September 10th, 2025. Jess, how's it going?
Going great.
Cool. So we were just talking about some fun things. Jess, how was your week?
It's great, you know, locking into thesis, settling into next year of my life, hoping it will be more good than bad, and I think it will. So
nice. It'll be great. I was terrified for mine, but it ended up turning great. So it looks there was an automatic driver update for my interface, and it looks like it caused it to break the OBS connection. So those are always wonderful. And it worked everywhere else.
Like updates.
Because Jess could hear me. So yeah, OBS, which I love, did not pick it up this time. But I was also telling Jess a second ago, maybe you could read my lips, maybe not. But I am finally feeling better, which is nice. But as I was telling Jess that before the show, I immediately inhaled water, which is not my best idea. And so I might cough periodically for a different reason. So yeah, you just can't win, I guess, with the respiratory situations. So the game show is a celebration of video games and our collective interest mixed with a healthy dose of humor while bringing in our favorite people in the game and movie industries on as guests. And I have to say, for the second time now, that Apos Fox was a great guest last week. That was a lot of fun.
It was a really great episode.
Yes, for sure. He was very insightful. I love his channel. So, but yeah, it's been a really good week. It's been nice to very slowly get healthy. It took a good 2 weeks from beginning of COVID to somewhat feeling normal again. So finally exercise and not one of the new professors at I almost said the name of the school at the university noticed how awful I felt one of the days before I tested positive, because he caught me in the hall or in the building. He's like, I thought that day you weren't feeling very well because you were like pouring down sweat. You just didn't look good. And yeah, so it was not a good
I'm
stitch.
so glad that you're doing better.
Me too. Don't get COVID. Don't get
yes.
COVID.
Always the goal.
No, it won't. So Jack's quick corner is going to have to be done by us tonight because Jack is off. I believe somewhere on Halo. I'm not sure which part of the ring that he's on, but somewhere out there, Jack, if you want to let us know which part of the ring you're on, north, south, east, west, we'd like to know. But Silk Song is out, which is very exciting. Hollow Knight, of course, very, very well received. Pretty much unanimously across everybody. So, and it's available still for free. I mean, if you have the services on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. So you can play it that way, the original. And Silk Song, which Jess and I have not played yet. We were talking about that before the show. But excited to play it very soon because I really liked the original. I played it way back when, and it's been such a long time. But I do plan to get it on the old Switch sometime soon. I can play it on the go. Are you?
Yeah, I'm hoping to also, play it. I'm currently. I don't know if I ever finished Hollow Knight. I played it, but I don't know if I ever actually got to the end. So I restarted that this week, and I've got a little bit into it, but I want to get through it before I pick up the new one.
Yeah, good plan. And there's a Machine Games documentary out from NoClip on YouTube, and I'll go ahead and post that in the chat. That way you can all see it. There's that cough again. Very exciting. Getting there to the chat. I had forgotten to get that rolling. Hey, Maximus Prime. Hey, Sketchy Ceviche. And if you, there's the link I was talking about. Hey, Castlemania Ryan is here. Nice. It's fun to see you. Again, I always love the store. I'll say that every time because it's literally probably the best video game store that exists. But there's a Machine Gun Games documentary out. I posted it in the chat so you can check it out there. And if you want to interact with us like all the other folks are, you can go to our YouTube chat, type it in there. If you want to talk to us at any time, you can go to breakmanx.com, click Discord, and hit us up there, which would be great. But and if you want to like and subscribe, we would also really like that. And it should pop up there on the middle, which we would be very excited about. And on the Machine Gun Games documentary, Jack would like us to know in all caps that they talk about another Wolfenstein game, which is exciting, and I agree deserves the caps. One of the very first games Jack and I talked about on the site was the Wolfenstein game for Xbox. It was the first Game Breaker we did, which was our video review series, where Jack so rudely said my room was met. No, he was definitely right. It was very messy. It was an accurate description. But it's on the intro video I play before the show. So Jess, how about your quick corner?
Yes, so I did not have time at all to try to get into Expedition 33 this week. I am hopeful that I will be able to get enough stuff done this weekend that I'll have Monday open to like really get into it. But it's one of those games, you know, it's so story heavy that if I'm going to sit down, I want to have like several hours to play it, as opposed to trying to do like 20 minutes here and there. I want it to be a little bit more cohesive. So instead, this week, for the tiny little bit of time that I had to play something, I have started playing Cult of the Lamb. And I cannot believe it took me this long to play it. And it is one of my new favorite things in the world. Because you just get to play as an adorable little lamb that is running a cult. It's a great time.
That sounds fascinating. Really, like a really fun combination of things.
It's a lot of fun, and you've got, you know, there's some combat, but it's not. I'm not a huge combat person. I'm very bad at video games, as much as I love them, and so it's a nice like balance of like resource management and then a little bit of fighting, but nothing that's like overwhelming. It's very funny, cute. It's just an all-around good time, and it's a great thing to like pop in and play for like 30 minutes here or 45 minutes here, and I don't feel like I'm missing anything by having to cut it off early. So
nice. Well, that's what Weezer Jedi always used to say, that he wasn't good at games, even though he loved games. I don't know if I'm good at games or not, but I enjoy them, so I don't care.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know if it's that I'm not good at them. It's that I get very frustrated very easily. I am a rage quitter at my soul, and so if it takes more than like 2 tries to beat something, I'm probably just going to put it down and never come back to it. So I always do the like story mode, easy type of thing, because otherwise I have a bad time so quick.
I gotcha. Games can be super frustrating. We were playing games in my game class at university today, and someone was playing Bubble Bobble, which I love. But for whatever reason, as a kid, made me really frustrated, like super frustrated. I don't know why, because it's not that hard of a game. But I remember my mom, when she returned the game, the rental, she was like, "This game is too frustrating for children." I just remember it. I don't know why I remember that, but
my parents used to have conversations of like whether or not the video game controller should be taken from me as a small child, because we had. The Xbox was in the basement, and so I'd play them, and I played a lot of like the original Xbox platformers, which were a little bit janky at times. Yeah. And so I'd play them, and I'd get like super frustrated because I'd die a million times, and I'd throw the controller down, and I'd storm all the way up to the main level, all the way up to the like top level, being like, "This is so stupid, and I'm never gonna play video games again, and I hate this." And then like 10 minutes later, I'd come like storming back down the stairs and back into the basement to play. And I remember my mom being like, "Is she having fun? Do we need to stop this? Is this a bad thing for her?"
Is she having fun?
And my dad just be like, "Nah, she's good. Don't worry about it."
That's great. Well, you got some love in the chat. Sketsy Ceviche says, "I love shmups. I also suck at them. Infinite credits all day long." And Castlevania games. Ryan says, "Haven't had much time lately. Mostly playing Rygar and DK." But Rygar, the NES game, the NES version, I'm assuming. Great fun game. And DK Bonanza, which I've been picking away at as well. But I'm excited to to get farther in that game. So, and I picked up the update for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which I really like. The update itself, I mean, it makes it runs so much, but it didn't run very well on the original Switch, unfortunately. But the update really improves that quite a bit, and it makes it so fluid. And then the additional content, which I haven't gotten to yet, because this is one of those games I waited because I was like, okay, this runs really badly, so I'm gonna wait until it doesn't run terribly. Oh, for the NES, Ryan. Okay, great. Yeah, awesome. I've never beaten that game, so I might have to beat that one. But yeah, I recommend it. It's good. I've been excited for it, for the Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And again, they add the additional content as well as the update. So it's, it's additional content beyond just the hardware upgrade.
That's nice.
Yes. I also installed the trying to find. Okay, yeah, that's not going to work at all. But the iOS 26 release candidate, the release candidate, I used to go through and do all the betas, but I kind of got burned with that one time. But the release candidate is, supposed to be the version that's pretty close to final for what's going to be released next week. And I'm pretty surprised with it, to be honest with you. It runs way better on my phone than the previous stable version did. Like, it's super fast, like way faster, feels less buggy. Just in general, feels like a much better version of iOS. And it looks cool. I like the liquid glass, the kind of way I have it set up. And Apple Music, now the what is it? The auto DJ or auto mix or whatever is really nice. And how it transitions songs. And then if you don't have any songs left, it just automatically does a really good job of playing songs. And I should mention on the Spotify side of things, they finally added lossless. The one thing I didn't like about Spotify was fixed today. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, and I've been working a lot on my movie on the book side of things. Was added about 40 pages within the last few days. So
nice.
I've been writing a lot. So that's been going well. And finally going to get to see Blink-182. I've been... I can remember... back in the day, a friend showing me Blink. This is before Enema of the State. So, like, he was really into all the, like, punk stuff. And so he knew about bands that no one else did. And Blink was not at all a popular band at the time. And he showed me Dude Ranch when it was pretty new. And then they were still pretty small. And then I remember the day Enema of the State came out, we went together to the CD store to buy it. And I remember, like, we were blaring it in our car and no one knew what Blink was. And then within a few months, it was all over the radio. It was like everywhere. Yeah. So, but anyway, I have a lot of different music I like, but I've always liked Blink quite a bit and always missed out on seeing them. So BreakmanX and I are going to go see them in about 2 weeks, which I'm pretty stoked for.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's going to be fun. I read Mark's book recently too, the bassist.
I need to pick that up. It's been on my radar for a while, but I just haven't had the time. It's
good. You never know how those are going to be. I've read some Rockstar books that are really just kind of wasted my time reading them, to be honest.
Yeah.
But this one was good. It was better than I thought it was going to be. And I don't mean that as a slight against Mark Hoppus. I didn't know what my expectations were going in, and it was a good read. I read it really fast within like a couple days.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so it's good. Castlevania Ryan's in a punk band. Oh, nice. Well, if you play somewhere I can see you, I'd love to come see you. Cool. Yeah, this is a really weird memory I had, but my first college class, I was just sitting there, and I was talking with this guy, and I was talking about the bands I like, Tool and a few others, and then Blink, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I've hung out with those guys." I was like, "Yeah, right." The next day he comes and he has a picture of him with Mark and Tom. And this is before like Photoshop is, super ubiquitous. So I think pretty sure it was real. But yeah, he's like a skater dude. And he was just like hanging out with Mark Hoppus and Tom DeLonge. So.
That's wild.
Yeah. So anyway, excited for that. That'll be fun. Finally getting to do that.
That'll be awesome.
Finally getting to do that.
Yeah, they're one of the ones that I have not gotten to see, and I would love to at some point because they were just so influential for little me.
Oh yeah, they're like popular, but they haven't really changed a whole lot of what they do. And they're working on a new album now too.
I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see.
Yeah, I love hearing Tom DeLonge talk about aliens. He's like so passionate about it. I love it.
Yep. It's a lot of fun.
Castlevania Games Ryan says 90s era skate punk. That's a great era. That whole era of skate punk was like has such a aura about it. That was so cool. You're just automatically cool. I was always terrible at skateboarding. I tried it several times and like I can like go up and down my driveway and I could do it. I could skateboard to class. I did it at SC a little bit. But I couldn't do any tricks. Yeah. I kind of felt like I was going to die every moment I did it though.
Yeah, so. I remember we had one when I was little and I think I got on it a grand total of 2 times. And it just feels so... I'm not a particularly coordinated human being to start with. And every time I got on it, I was just like, I'm going to fall and break my neck. This is not where I'm meant to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. It does. You feel like you're somewhere you're not supposed to be. That's how I felt the whole time. Sketchy Ceviche says, you guys know all the cool people. Well, some of them. Some of them, for sure. I don't know Mark and Tom. I wish I did, but I knew someone that did know them. Let's figure out the pyramids too. Yes, Ryan. Let's figure it out, man. All right. So let's jump into our main topic of the night, which is our favorite video game characters. Woo! And this was just as we had a different topic, but being that it's just us two, that one would have been a little bit weird with just us two. So just had a good idea to do this, and this is going to be a lot of fun. So let's get started. Mine aren't necessarily in order of like which ones I like the most, but
mine either. Like, yeah,
cool. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about these. So the first one I came up with, which I spelled wrong on the outline, I just realized, but Samus Aran. I've always loved Samus. Even from the NES game, I always thought her design was really cool, and I think it's only gotten cooler as time's progressed. My peak Metroid for me is Super Metroid. I loved Super Metroid. I've talked about that story on the show before, but that night, I remember we rented the game. It was raining outside, just like it was at the beginning of the game. It was so atmospheric. The music was so great. And then, of course, Metroid Prime. That was early on in the show. That came out, I think it was December of 2003, around that time. Maybe November. And the show started in September of 2002. So, November of 2002. September of 2002. So it was pretty early on, and it was one of the ones we talked about at length because we were also enamored with it. So Metroid Prime 1 also was really cool. Maximus Prime says Leon Kennedy was cool. What do you think about that, Jess? What a good segue that was.
It's funny you say that because the first person on my list is Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil.
That's hilarious.
And I just, that is amazing.
Way to go,
and
Max.
I just feel like he is, when I think Resident Evil, he's the first person that I think of. And I think he's just such a charming, grounded, relatable video game character. Like, I've never met anybody that doesn't like Leon Kennedy.
Yep.
Like, he's just such a likable character. And, like, Chris Redfield is cool, but he's very kind of stoic and, like, kind of removed from everything in a lot of ways. And I just feel like we were really able to, like, get into it with Leon, and he really revived the series and, like, just brought a breath of fresh air to it all. So I feel like he's one of the more, like, if I'm talking iconic video game characters, he's, like, really high up on the list for me.
He's got a cool look to him too.
Yeah.
BreakmanX was actually, he got for his, he's not Leon Kennedy for Halloween, but he's a different character for Halloween. And he got like this little toy gun for his costume, and he was walking through the kitchen. He's like, "Who am I?" And he was
amazing.
Leon Kennedy. So
that's so great.
Yeah. So he's much beloved by everyone. And Castlevania Games, Ryan says Claire too. Yes. She's also cool.
I also really like Jill. I mean, so many of the Resident Evil, characters are amazing, but I just feel like Leon is just so...
Have you played Code Veronica?
I didn't finish it. I definitely rented it.
Okay.
Back in the day.
I love that one,
but
as you know.
I don't think yeah.
Still Tara's favorite.
Solid.
So, yeah. She's awesome too. Lots of good characters in that series. All right, so my second one, again, not in order of how much I love them, but in kind of the order of I thought of them and I just went with it. But Ramza. Did I say Ramza? Ramza. Beov. I never have known exactly how to pronounce that, but I'm going to go with that pronunciation. But I just, that game is so interesting to me, and the story is so interesting, and it's so prescient. And it's, the remake is coming out, I believe, on 30th, or the remaster, or whatever it is. So it's something that people can play pretty soon. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm going to add Mega Man to my list. I didn't have him before. That's so crazy. I was like, I knew I'm forgetting a lot of them. But Ramza, I just think is an interesting character because he goes through so many changes through the game. Who he is at the middle of the game is different from who he is at the beginning of the game, who is different from who he is at the end of the game. And so just how much he changes, how much he sees, and it's very intriguing. I wish they would do another mature storyline in that series, because we had the ones on the GBA, but they were much more, the storylines were much more kid-friendly, whereas the original Final Fantasy Tactics dives straight into critique and satire of politics and religion, and it doesn't hold anything back about any of those things, class warfare, all that kind of stuff. Ramza is from Final Fantasy Tactics. Damn, Ryan. So it's pretty cool, pretty intense, and you kind of see lots of different perspectives from the Lion War, as it were. So nice. All right, you're up again.
Yeah. So my next one, and I want to say as well that I'm trying to do a mix of really popular, like really obvious answers, like Leon Kennedy, and also some random ones. And mine is Dragonborn, the Dragonborn from Skyrim. Not because I think the character is particularly well written or interesting, but because I have never felt more like a god than when I play Skyrim as the Dragonborn, especially when you get into the world of like mods. And it's just so much fun, and it feels like typically when I play video games, they're very story focused and that kind of thing. And Skyrim, the story's there if you like really want to dig for it. But you can also just run around and be a menace to society, which I have a lot of fun with. And I think the Dragonborn it's a really fun game to play.
Yes, it is. And there's a movie called Menace to Society. I remember the trailer from way back when. So right when you said that, it brought me back to, I think that came out in 93. But
yeah.
Nice. Good choice. Good choice for character, for sure. So my next character I'm going to go with is Mega Man. Because Mega Man is one of my favorite series of all time. And the character in general, while a little one-sided, his just pure goodness, unless you go into, I guess the GBA games and things like that, it changes a little bit. But like his pure goodness of never rebelling against the humans and just being just always on the side of good. Honestly, though, just playing as him and all the different power-ups you can get and how versatile all those games are. But yeah, I gotta go with Mega Man. I just love the art style. We've got a bunch more chats come in. I better read. This is great. Thanks everybody for all the interaction here. We've got Maximus Prime, Kazuyuma Kiryu, and Yakuza is great. Sketchy Ceviche says how Maru. Also, I don't know why I can't say that tonight. CM Ryan says Tactics. I don't remember that at all. I guess I do remember enjoying it. Yeah, it's a really good game. That remake is coming out soon. You should check it out. Maximus Prime. I liked BreakmanX and Serena and Skyrim. That's my favorite in the game.
Parthenax and Serana were both on my list of potential people to put on companions. I didn't end up putting them on there just because I had so many other ones. But Parthenax is one of the most interesting characters, I think, in the entirety of the Skyrim game.
Yes. And we'll be hitting up our companions here after our protagonists. And Sketchy says Grand Theft Skyrim. And Maximus Prime says John Marston in Red Dead Redemption won't leave my brain. And I don't want him to. So.
Very fair.
Yes. All right. Your turn. This is one I almost picked.
Yes, so my next one on the list is Lara Croft, Tomb Raider series, obviously. I just, we weren't overflowing with options for female protagonists in video games in the 90s and the early 2000s. And as a kid who really wanted to be an anthropologist and an archaeologist, everything about the Tomb Raider games were like my favorite thing in the world, and I still to this day absolutely adore them. They have like a very special place in my heart, and they were fun games. Like I actually really enjoyed them. I played a lot of them because again that was back in the day where you could like rent games, and so I played a lot of them. I don't know if I ever beat the majority of them, but it was a lot of fun, and she was just such a cool character, and to see like this badass female protagonist that you got to play as back then was so much fun.
She was badass. Those were games I was terrible at. I don't know why. Tomb Raider. I had a terrible time playing the first Tomb Raider game. The more recent ones are I'm great at, but I had a hell of a time playing those early Tomb Raider games. I had trouble with acclimating myself.
I remember them being difficult. Yeah, I remember those not being particularly easy games to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You probably were better at them than me. I don't know. There's something about my brain. But okay. Well, I'm going to say this only because Jack's not here and he can't be here to hear me. And Maximus Prime, stop it. You predicted this one too. Master Chief is my next one. Master Chief. Master Chief again. I obviously have the history with making fun of Halo a lot, and that kind of being a whole thing with the original run of the show for that first several months to a year. But replaying the Halo games with BreakmanX made me appreciate Master Chief, especially in those early games, even more. Master Chief is a unique character, and he's kind of your on one hand, but he also has a lot of those traits that you love of the classic action characters. Sketchy Ceviche says he's not afraid of anything, and yeah, you dive right in, and he just has an element of a badassery to him in that world and in that environment. And if you read the books, like The Fall of Reach, which when Jack told me to read that book, I was like, a Halo book, Jack, really? But he let me borrow it. It's actually really good. It's actually a really good book. I was kind of surprised. And once you read the books and you get the expanded storyline, it becomes even more interesting. So I'll give it up to Master Chief, but I'll never say it when Jack's around.
You know what? I respect that.
All right. What's your next one?
Yeah, so the next one is going to be Ellie from The Last of Us. And Joel as well. I think that's just such a phenomenally written, especially the first game, is just so great. And to see a character like Ellie and following, I think, a kid in that kind of world is super interesting. And to also see, a queer character and like her coming to terms with all of that throughout the series. She just was a very groundbreaking character. And I just think she's amazing.
Very natural, too. There's
Yes.
something about her that fits into the world and is so cohesive with that whole everything.
And I love how, like, she's funny and she's spunky and she's resilient. And it's kind of what you would expect. It's not what you would expect from a kid. Like, the world is ending, but, like, she still acts like a kid a lot of the times, which I think is, like, really well done and really cool.
Yes, like I've said many times before, that unveil is one of my favorite unveils of all time at E3. Seeing that game unveiled and the interaction between those two characters was mind-blowing at the time. Still is, but at the time, it was especially. So, all right, so my next one, I just have to go with because it's so classic, but Mario. I mean, Mario, like, I always thought it was so funny. If you ever try to explain the story of Mario to someone, it's like, oh, he's a plumber and he goes in the sewers and he's attacked by turtles and Goombas and all this weird stuff. And then he'll jump on them and he'll throw fire at them. And he has to save eventually some princess. And there's like this giant turtle that hates him. It's such a bizarre, weird, almost like drug trip of this. I mean, yeah, he takes mushrooms to get more powerful. It's just such a bizarre situation, but it's so iconic and it works so well, and his powers don't match him at all. Like and during the N64 days, somehow became super athletic. Like, doesn't look like an athlete. I mean, he doesn't look like he works out too much or eats right or does, he's Mario, right? And, but he somehow can do flips and just jump all over the place and kick off walls like a ninja and all of that. So, and it just somehow kind of works despite being really odd on paper.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's the entire world of Mario, I think, works because it's so whimsical.
Yeah.
Right? Of like, because it's so weird, you stop questioning it.
So much whimsy.
Yeah, like if he wasn't a plumber, it would really make less sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the mustache is iconic.
Yes, 100%.
Iconic mustache. For sure. Ezio in Assassin's Creed makes me happy to be a gamer. Maximus Prime says, Kirby is a weird one to explain, but I love that innocent consuming pink ball. Kirby is an interesting one. I don't think he makes it on our list, but he's a good one. And thanks for joining us, Castmania Ryan. Always love to see you. Yeah. So what's your next one?
So my next one, kind of similar and shifting to mascots of games, is Pikachu. And very similar to Maximus's view on Kirby. He's an adorable little mouse creature. And there's games now that you get to play as Pikachu, but he's not necessarily the main character in the original games. But, the cartoons were also a huge deal, and I love how much of a jerk Pikachu was at the beginning of the cartoons, to the point where, Ash didn't even want him. He was supposed to get one of the cool starter Pokemon, and then he ends up with this, difficult little mouse that he's gonna tie a rope around and drag with him because he refuses to get in his Pokeball. And he's just so cute and adorable, and I miss
Pikachu
when he used to be chubby, so much more chubby than he is, and he was adorable. And I won't even get into the movies, the Mewtwo movie. There's just so much of it that, I don't know, animals are great. And when they're magical, electrical animals, they're even better.
Yes. And in Smash Brothers. So, quick. Some might say annoying.
Yes.
But always fun. Pikachu.
That just reads skill issue to me.
Oh, shots are fired.
You know?
No, people would just always get mad at me when I play as Pikachu.
Oh yeah,
So
no, I've been that person as well.
Sorry, but yeah, lightning's always fun. All right, so the next one, back to Nintendo, but one that I like the most probably of all the Nintendo characters is Link from Zelda. And I kind of put Link and Zelda almost as the same because they're such good counterparts, and especially when you get to the later games and Zelda actually has a much bigger role than just being saved. It gets much better, but Link is a child, especially in the early games. And as a child, he's able to, and playing it when I was a child, was really empowering to, get all these weapons and get all this stuff and eventually defeat this great evil. Like, it was something I could really identify with. Link has become, he's changed ages a few times. I think he's back to being a kid again, which is nice because I just think Link as a child is where Link's the most powerful because he overcomes so much. And again, Zelda too. I mean, you can't really have Link without Zelda because Zelda is such a big counterpart to him. And Echoes of Wisdom, now having her own game, I hope she gets some more because I've always liked the magical side of things more than like the warrior side of things. So in that way, she appeals to me more because she's the magic side of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Zelda. Such a great name too.
Yes. Also,
right.
really great character in Smash Bros.
Yes.
She's one of my defaults.
Yes, she's really cool. I like her a lot in Smash Bros. And Link too. Both of them are great.
Yep.
All right, your turn.
Yes, so keeping with the kind of mascots, I've got Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot was probably one of the games we played the most on like the original Xbox. And he was fun because like he was still like a cartoon animal mascot, but you could tell that they were trying to make him kind of like cooler and crazier, which is debatable whether or not they achieved that. But it just always felt a little bit more kind of like zany and out there than like the Mario world, which I really enjoyed.
Yes, and I those original Crash Bandicoot commercials that they had back in the early days of the PlayStation. Hey, plumber boy, those were so great. Those are some of my favorite video game commercials. They did such a good job of playing up exactly what you're talking about in the game. Yep. That first Crash Bandicoot on PS1 too. There's a YouTube video about it, but they pretty technically impressive how they got that first one to look so good.
And they were difficult games.
Yes.
And like I was a kid, so like maybe not that difficult, but like
more so
I remember
than
them being more of a heavier lift than like Nintendo, at least.
Yeah. Although I'd still put Tomb Raider ahead, but again, maybe I'm just terrible at Tomb Raider. I'm not good at rating tombs.
See, now I feel like I need to play the games again because I don't remember them being horrible, but I could be wrong. And now I'm curious.
Nathan Drake, serial killer extraordinaire from Jack, which Maximus has already guessed. Nathan Drake's not on our list. He could have been. I considered it.
I thought about him. Yeah.
But I just don't like him. I love the games, and I love what you like the action pieces in the games, but I don't know. I'm not a huge Nathan Drake himself fan. No, there's anything wrong with him. I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Not that like I hate him or anything. He's not why I like those games. I like the games because of what you do.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'd rather be Indiana Jones.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Right. So my next one, again, going back to mascots, Sonic. I mean, Sonic was a huge part of Sega taking Nintendo's 98% of the market down to about 50% in the 90s. Was a really cool idea to have a really speedy, very Gen X. He is Gen X. Sonic the Hedgehog is like the most Gen X of all the characters, unless like Bart Simpson became a mascot, because he just has so much of that tude to him, and I'll always like the original design the best. But I'll never forget the first time I played Sonic, because I was at my friend's house, who he had every system. Super cool dude. He went on to be the guitarist for Senses Fail, actually. But he had like all the systems, and I remember being like, I've never played a Genesis. And he's like, oh, you want to see Supersonic go really fast? I was like, yes. That's how he pitched it to me. And I remember playing that game in his basement and being sold on Sonic. And then, like I mentioned a show or two ago, we somehow got our Genesis super cheap. Like, I'm pretty sure it was stolen. I didn't know it at the time, but thinking back to it, like getting a sealed brand new Genesis from a pawn shop for like half or less than half they were selling new for in stores. And I still have it. It still works great. It must have been. I didn't know it though. I didn't know. So,
you didn't steal it.
I didn't steal it. I mean, I got it for a steal. But
oh no, Sonic's such a good one. Sonic was actually the first video game I played.
Oh really? Which one?
I think. Yeah. It was Sega Genesis.
So probably the first
my
one?
mom had her. I think, I don't remember like the game specifically, like which one it was, but my mom had her wisdom teeth removed. And so we borrowed my aunt's Sega Genesis, because my dad's like, we got to keep you out of her hair while she recovers from this. And so it was the first video game I ever played.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that it's probably not the best of all of them, but the Sonic 1 will always be my favorite, because I just have so many good memories, and I can just throw that on and just play it, and it's so relaxing. Basically, the first 6 levels I almost always play, going up from Green Hill Zone to Marble Zone. I love the music.
And it's so satisfying.
Yes.
It's so satisfying to do.
Yes.
It's one of such a good game.
Sonic CD is really good too. It's more of a little less about speed, but it's good. And I've got one more just to throw in that I added because I think she's awesome. Jessie from Control. That's a game where I love the game, but I also love the protagonist. I think she's the perfect protagonist for that world. And she's also, I would say, similar to Master Chief in that she's not afraid of anything. I mean, if you look at that world where like the world is bending and reality in itself is like completely on its head, and there's scary, it's like being in a David Lynch wet dream, and like she just keeps plowing forward, forward, and she never ever gets afraid, and she's always super tough about everything, and she's witty and has good things to say, and I think it helps that she's performed really well. What's the actress's name? Courtney something. I'll look it up sometime. But the voice actress that plays her is also really good. So one of my favorite more modern characters. All right, so that's our protagonists. We're moving on now to our best companion / NPC characters. And of course, my first one and the greatest one ever is Breakman from Mega Man.
Obviously.
Yes. No, it's funny because when I first did this list, I didn't put him. And then I was like, what? How could you not do Breakman? But in English, usually Proto Man. He is called Breakman, I believe, in Mega Man 3. But for most of them, called Proto Man or Blues, because they all have music names. Mega Man's Rock, his sister's Roll. There's Tango and Bass, and then Breakman is Blues. But just such a freaking cool character. Obviously, one of my favorites of all time. I just love his design. Love the scarf. wears the scarf well, the yellow scarf.
Yes.
Um,
yes.
There was Mandy Paw, who still runs the Mega Man homepage. She's run it. It's one of the very first web pages I ever visited back in like '96, and she's still running it. MMHP.net, the best Mega Man website if you've never been. But she did a lot of her own artwork of all the characters. But she did some really good drawings of him. And she's probably actually the person that really got me into him. And she also wrote like a novel series that she released for free on her website. Kind of fan fiction, but I would say a little bit more. I don't know. Back in those days, a lot of the fan fiction wasn't so well written. I think it probably improved after that. But hers was really well written, like actual novels.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
I should shout out mmhp.net. Let me make sure it's still up. It was like a month ago. Yep, it's still there. From 96 to 2025.
That's amazing.
That's insane. 94. So it was there before I was there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 94 to 2025. And if you ever playing a Mega Man game and need like tips, she literally has like the boss order, everything you could ever want, all the passwords, everything for every single Mega Man game. Like she's pretty amazing. And she used to come on IRC and we'd chat with her and such back in the day. But she ended up being a game designer. She went to Digipin, and she ended up doing, I remember the last time I talked, and this was forever ago, the last time I talked to her, she's working on the Dragon Ball Z games on Game Boy Advance. I'm sure she's done a whole lot of stuff since then, but that was, forever ago. So, anyway, mmhp.net, great design website. She does everything. One of the cooler spots online. All right, Jess.
Very awesome. So my next choice is maybe a little bit weird, but one of my favorite game franchises of all time is The Sims. And I love how utterly unhinged so many of the townies' backstories are, especially like in the early games.
Yeah.
And one of my favorites is Bella Goth, because in the first game, she's like totally normal family. And then in the second game, we find out that she's like gone missing, and she's maybe been like offed by Don Lothario, but she's maybe been abducted by aliens, and like there's all this stuff. And then you've got The Sims 3 that like jumps back in time, and then there's this belief that like The Sims 4 is an alternate timeline, and so people trying to like connect the dots of what happened to Bella Goth is one of my favorite things. And it's all crazy, it's all unhinged, and it's the kind of thing that like you can fall down the rabbit hole and it starts to make an amount of sense that it feels like it shouldn't, which is just a super fun time. So if anybody, doesn't know that there is lore to the Sims games, I recommend looking some of it up because it's a very fun time. And in that same vein, I also want to bring up the fact that in The Sims House Party, Drew Carey existed.
So I was wondering on your list, because I didn't know that fact, and I was like, is that the same? But it is the same Drew Carey. Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And he would like show up to your party if it was impressive enough. And he was like, and forgive me if I'm getting a couple things wrong, it's been a very, very long time, but he was like a proper like NPC, so you could play him, like you can play like the other like Sims. And I remember, I don't know if it's like a feature of it or if it like was just a thing that like happened sometimes, but I remember like playing it one time and he showed up and like he talked to like, he like flirted with somebody and like she slapped him.
That's great.
It was just so much fun, and I miss, one of my biggest gripes with The Sims 4 is just that like it lacks the complete and utter unhingedness of the early games.
Yeah.
And I miss it.
Yeah,
I still play it a lot, but
the first Sims game, BreakmanX and I played so much of that, and would just try to get the characters in the most ridiculous situations we could. Like part of it
was hard to do.
Right. Part of it was like, let's build a really cool house, Let's see how cool of a house we can have, and then let's see like what's the craziest thing that can happen. Yeah. Did they ever do hauntings in The Sims? If not, they should.
Yes, to varying levels of success. Yes.
Yeah, because that would be so much fun to like, you know, have a Sims-like game. You build a house, you do all that kind of stuff. Thanks, Getchy. See ya. You do all that stuff, and then like you can haunt the people. That would be so much fun.
There have been instances of that, like in different games. The Sims 4 is really tried to do that. Like they have an entire like paranormal pack that you can do, and you can do seances. Yeah, and it's not great. I don't know. I feel like the gameplay in The Sims 4 is... I don't ever play it. I make characters and I build buildings and houses, and then I'm like, I'm gonna play, and then I play for like a couple hours, and I'm like, I'm bored now. And for me, I honestly think it's just because like it seems harder to get like truly unhinged stuff to happen. And part of that is probably just because I'm an adult now. But also, like, the early Sims games were just crazy.
They were crazy. They're really nuts.
And I think they're trying to, like, I think they're trying to make The Sims, like, weirdly, like, a more serious game.
Which is weird, because that was, like, the best-selling game forever.
Like,
Richie used to get so mad that was the...
Yeah.
It was like, we do the charts every week back then, and it was always number one, The Sims.
Yeah. And, like, the fact that they took out, like, the fact that your Sims can now get out of the pool if you take away the ladder. Like, why are you putting a damper on my chaos? Like, anyone that boots up The Sims is doing it either because they want to, like, build stuff. There's the people that just build, and that's the reason why they play The Sims, which is fair. But, like, you want unhinged stuff to happen in The Sims. It's why you're playing The Sims. And, like, it still happens, but it feels like it's less random.
Yeah.
Like, it used to be, like, things would happen. I'm like, I would never have assumed this thing would happen, ever, in a game. And, like, now everything just feels kind of expected. I don't know. I still give them a lot of money, though, so I can't.
It'll always be the first one for me. It'll always be the first one. I got that original one installed on my PC with all the expansions and everything. We were playing it, I can't remember, the past year. It was still fun. Music brought back a lot of memories.
Oh, yeah.
So, cool. All right, well, let's see. The next one, I'm going to skip down my list because I'm going to go with GLaDOS, even though it's sort of a villain. Someone asked for doing villains. We're not doing villains. But GLaDOS is a villain, but it's also your companion during the game because she talks to you and she taunts you. And the writing for GLaDOS is just so great throughout the entire Portal game. And really funny. Like, the way it's written and performed, is just so great throughout that game. If you haven't played Portal, anybody out there, you definitely need to play Portal. Because the writing... Have you played Portal, Jess?
I did not play it myself, but I sat on the couch while my roommate played it.
Oh, okay.
All the way through. So
you got it. Yeah. And the writing's great, though. I love like that whole interaction. Yes. And then the song that GLaDOS sings at the end, Stay Alive. I like listening to that just for fun. So, great. Ends up becoming a well, that was weird. OBS gave me a message disconnecting, but it didn't disconnect from anything because YouTube says we're excellently connected. So that's why I was frozen there for a second. I've never gotten that message before. So, but we're still going. We're still good. All right, what's your next one, Jess?
Yeah, so, I can't talk about characters in a video game and not bring up Dragon Age, obviously. And it was very difficult for me to nail down which characters I wanted to talk about because honestly, I love almost all of them and can go into great detail about all of it. But I think I'm going to settle on my favorite being the very predictable but correct answer, in my opinion, of Varric Tethys. He's just so charming and fun, and I like that we get him as like a narrator, and he just feels like coming home every time like I boot it up and I hear him like start to tell the story. It's just such a like warm feeling in my chest. I love him so much. I understand, but I'll always be like a little bit irritated that my purple female hawk was not able to romance him, and it's still my headcanon that that's what happened and that they were in love with each other.
Whatever you want is what happened. Manifest.
It works with the narrative in Inquisition if you like play it right. And that was one of the spoiler alert for the Veilguard. It was one of the character deaths that I like saw coming 50 million miles away. Like it was so obvious that it was going to and honestly had to happen. And yet it still hurt. I love him so much. Also, honorable mentions to Dorian from Inquisition, who I think is one of, if not the best, like written character in the Dragon Age series, like as like a personal quest and like how he grows as a character. I think he's so well done. And then of course my original wife in Origins, Liliana, who decided one day that she could hear God and her life was forever changed. And I love her so much. She's so unhinged.
Nice.
It's great.
That's great. Cool. Good choices. All right, so my next one, again, no villains. However, this one works because he fights with you for a little bit. So Sephiroth, because I have to mention him every show, is a good companion character when you play with him in the flashback to Nibelheim. He joins your party, and it's earlier on in the game, and he just destroys everything. Like he's super powerful, and they do a really good job of leading up to you thinking that he's just like the greatest thing ever, and then he becomes the villain. So they lead you up thinking he's this great hero, all this stuff, and then all of a sudden villain. So I love that lead up. I could talk about it more, but I've talked about him every show, so we'll move on to your next pick, because this is a really cool one. They're all really cool. So I love Undertale.
Yes, and Undertale is another game that, like, throw a dart at the wall in any of the characters is a great answer. I specifically went with Undyne, just because I don't know if there has been a video game character that has made me laugh out loud as often as Undyne. It's probably a mix between Undyne and Papyrus. I don't think I have laughed harder at characters and dialogue in a video game than those two in Undertale. And it's just such a fun world, and the characters are so specific. Like, Undyne is such a strong character, and I love her so much, and everything in that world is just so brimming with life and personality, and it's so much fun. So honestly, any of the characters in Undertale you could put on this list, but personally I think Undyne is my favorite.
Nice. Great selection. Gotta mention Undertale. Undertale's such a cool game.
Yeah. Her and Alphys. Oh. So great.
Awesome. I'm going random on my list. I will go with Cortana next, since I already talked about Master Chief. But Cortana, I just even when I first played Halo and wasn't super loving it, I always thought Cortana was cool. Great voice acting, but the way that she interacts with you through the entire thing, and really has like conversations with you. She's not just saying like go here, because I don't like that in games where it's just like go here, do this. But she actually has conversations with you. She talks to you, and you kind of figure things out together. And it's really one of the E3s. We got to talk with her. Can't remember which one, but it was one of them. But her voice is just so iconic and a great addition. It's probably my favorite part about Halo. Jack says Deltarune, but Lancer all the way. And
also, very solid pick.
Yes. And Maximus Prime said Dom in Gears of War was a great character. I know you could play as him if you play co-op, but he wasn't the main character. Gears of War, I just never could get into that series. And I think that they're good games. I don't think that they're bad games. I don't know what I tried to play them. Q really tried to get me to play it. And I could just never. Eric Robbins on the show loved that series. That was his avatar. I just could never get into that series. And I don't know why. I didn't like chainsaws, I guess. I don't know. I thought I liked chainsaws. That's all I could think of when I think of that game. Duck, cover, and... Did you ever play Gears of War?
I did not. No.
It always felt like so macho to me. And I just don't like that kind of stuff. And maybe I'm missing the point somewhere. I don't know. But to me, it was just too much. Yeah. Too much for me.
I don't think I ever had a reason. It just wasn't something I picked up.
They were very heavy shooter gameplay and unrealistic huge characters. Yeah, the characters were almost like Jim Lee comic book style. Which was fine.
I remember seeing them. I'm aware of the games. I just never played them. But yeah.
Muscles upon muscles upon muscles.
Yeah.
Very, just like real life. All right, what's your next one?
So for my next one, I decided to go to Animal Crossing. And I think my favorite character... So I've got two that I'm going to say. I've got my favorite, vendor, town, character, and then, of course, my favorite villager. And my favorite, overall character, I think, is Blathers, who runs the museum. And he's just so adorable, and I love that he just info dumps about anything that you bring him. And it's so funny to me that he panics every time you try to hand him a bug, and he just freaks out. But the fish are fine, I guess. He doesn't have a problem with slimy fish, just creepy crawly bugs, I suppose. But I just love that he's so enthusiastic and excited about things. And you also get to learn a little bit about what you bring him, which I thought was a cool thing to add into the game. So Blathers is my favorite character. And then my favorite villager is Bob. He was the first villager I had move in on the original game on the GameCube. And he's a lazy purple cat that wears a flowery Hawaiian-esque shirt. And his name's Bob. So I don't know how you get any better than that.
Yes, very, very true. Animal Crossing, so simple, but so much charm. That's, again, one of those ones where they just knew the sweet spot for that series.
Especially that first one.
Yeah. The GameCube one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was an N64 one only in Japan.
I have heard about that.
Yeah, I've never played it.
Obviously, never played it. But
I think it's pretty similar to the GameCube one.
That would make sense.
Everyone, correct me, tell me how wrong I am. But I love the GameCube one. That's my favorite. Still.
Oh, same.
Still. Awesome. Okay, let's see. Which one am I gonna go with? I'm gonna go with Delita, Final Fantasy Tactics. So Delita's your best friend, and he's been brought up with you as one of the nobles, but you find he's not by blood a noble. And so as you progress through, especially towards the beginning, there's this another character in your party called Algus that's a super classist type person and very demeaning towards any lower class people that you interact with, and including Delita, even though he's fighting on your side. And it just becomes, I mean, I don't want to spoil the story, but the whole interaction with Delita through that whole thing, I'd never, at that age when I first played it, I'd never encountered a story that had such intense story of class warfare, and like having people on all sides of it, and showing how there's like there's villains on all sides of all the war. There's no true perfect side anywhere, and how in that situation the poor people are basically all used as pawns for these larger organizations, and there's corruption in the religion, and Delita was such an interesting piece of that. And I've heard that the ending on the remake is altered, and I'm interested because the ending with Delita, I wasn't completely expecting what happened, so it'd be interesting to see what they did with it. I think you would like the story of Final Fantasy Tactics, Jess.
Yeah, so I have never played any Final Fantasy game.
I know.
I know.
No one's perfect.
I know. And it's not that I don't want to. I
know.
I don't know, especially when game series like get as big and as long and as many as like Final Fantasy. It's like I get like intimidated. I'm like, I don't know where to start.
I know. I hear that because there are so many. Tactics might be actually a good place for you to start because it's so different from all the other ones. And the new one, not that you would need an easy mode, but the original one, you had to do so much grinding to be able to get through it. And the remaster, from what I understand, there's a mode that can kind of you don't have to do that. You could just experience the story. Because the story is really good. Like it's one of my all-time favorite video game stories. And the characters in it are really good. And they've supposedly, there was some translation issues and things. They've supposedly gone through and kind of made the script really strong. And the director has said the reason that he wanted to remaster it is because he feels like the story is relevant again in our current time. So, but yeah, the gameplay is great too. I mean, I love the game. I love the strategy RPG stuff, but I think that you would like it just because it's a good story. It's well written, good characters.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out because like I'm not in any way, shape, or form like against, like I want to get into the games. It's just I haven't had the opportunity or like the in for it. So yeah. When the remaster comes out, I'll have to check it out.
That one's good. And 100%. Then the other, because they're all standalone. There's no crossover in anything. So I mean, obviously 7 would be a great, and the remake is coming out on Switch, I believe, if it hasn't already. So
yeah, I'll have to check it out. Like I've been meaning to for forever. I just haven't gotten around to it. So
I think 7, 10,
maybe this
and 6.
is my chance.
Yeah.
7, 10,
on
6.
The mainline series, I would say 7, 10, and 6 are the good entry points, and then if not, Tactics is good because it's just its own thing. It could easily have not been a Final Fantasy game, but I think they wanted to sell it. It has some of the elements. It has the spells and potions and all that kind of stuff. So there's a reason, but yeah, that was a lot of Final Fantasy stuff. All right, your next one.
Yeah, so going back to one of the first game series that like I really, really got into, which is Harvest Moon, and specifically A Wonderful Life, and Nami being one of my favorite characters. She was the one that I wanted to be my wife when I played the game for the first time. She's also the hardest of the 3 to get to love you because she only likes expensive and difficult to get things. And if you give her anything, like everyone else, you can like pick up a flower off of the ground and give it to them. And they're like, oh my God, I love you for this. And she's just like irritated that you dared to give her something that touched dirt, I guess. I don't know. But she wants, she wants like, you can go digging and like get like, there's like an archaeological site and you can get like artifacts and like that's what she wants you to give her, or like high quality crops, like all the stuff that requires a lot of effort. And you also, in A Wonderful Life, you have to get married in the first year, or like the game gives you an option to marry the easiest of the 3 romance options, and if you don't, like the game ends. And they're just like, okay, I guess you don't want to play this anymore. And so she's like really difficult to get to love you. And it was like back before the internet was super like easy and accessible to figure out how to do it. And it was the first game that I ever had like a friend that was also obsessed with the game.
Oh, that's
And so
cool.
we would like meet up like on the playground and be like, okay, this is how you get this person to love you, and this is what this person likes.
That's
and like
cool.
whatever. You know, back in the day when you had to like look up the cheats online and then you had to print them out because then somebody needed to go use the phone to like call somebody type of thing. So just a lot of like really warm, fuzzy feelings in my heart for that game. And I've played most of the Harvest Moon games up until maybe the last 5 to 10 years. I saw that they just did the remake. Because for anybody that doesn't know, the Harvest Moon games from back in the day are no longer called Harvest Moon because they lost the rights to the name Harvest Moon. So there are Harvest Moon games that are being released, but it's not the team that did the original Harvest Moon. That's Story of Seasons. And so like the Harvest Moon games are not great nowadays, and they're not the ones that I would suggest people look into. And all of the remakes of the old one are under the Story of Seasons. So like they redid Mineral Town, which I have for the Switch and I've played. They've done like a bunch of remakes, and they just did Grand Bazaar. And apparently there's actually like voice acting in it. And I haven't gotten around to it because I don't have the time nor the money really to spend on it. But I've been watching some gameplay of it and just being like, oh, the nostalgia. I love that series, and it's so it again very similar to like the Animal Crossing thing of like it's just so atmospheric and so chill and relaxing, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and there's nothing like that situation where you have someone else obsessed with the game, and you go to school and you're doing all that stuff. I mean, that was so many games growing up, and then. You know, when Shadow and I lived in different towns, Final Fantasy VII, we'd call each other. And we, you know, there was the phone bill at the time. So his dad had an 800 number for his business. And so he's like, oh, yeah, just call the 800 number. And we would be on the phone for like 2 hours a night. And he found out like that month that the 800 number is still charged his dad. He got in so much trouble because we were literally on the phone for like 2 hours a night. Talking about all this stuff. So yeah, that had to change.
Yeah, I used to use my phone calls to call them and talk about video games because it was that, and then Pokemon were the 2 games that we were both like super obsessed with. I remember she used to talk about how like when she grew up, Mario was going to be her husband, and so we were like the only 2 girls that were like video game nerds like at the time because it was 2000. We were like in first grade, so like 2002 maybe. So like girls didn't play video games, right? Like that wasn't a thing. So we were like really bonded over that, and we used to actually get yelled at by teachers because at recess we would just like sit close to the doors and just talk about video games, and they used to be like, "You need to go do physical activity and play," and we're like, "No."
Yeah, the one time I got in trouble in school, I got a pink card for standing in the snow. Such an awful thing. I was actually just talking to my friend today that we were just standing there talking, and we were like, pink card, which was like basically like you're in big trouble in that grade for standing in the snow. And so I had to tell my mom I got in trouble for standing in the snow. I didn't know you weren't supposed to. Apparently it's a big no-no.
Yeah, I do remember that rule of like if there was snow and you like so much just touched it with the tip of your shoe, you would get in trouble for it.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. But yeah, big trouble. But yeah, lots of fun fun, good memories. All right, let's see. I'll hit one more. I've got a couple. I'm gonna go with Sheik. I know not everyone loves Sheik in Ocarina of Time, but I always thought that was a really cool. I mean, I just like that Zelda was more involved in the story. To be honest with you, I always thought Zelda was a really cool mystical character, and that whole twist was ruined by Shadow. Not that it was hard to see coming, but yeah, because I know I've told this story, but I got that game a month late because of errors with EB Games getting it to me late, and so Shadow was already a month in when I finally got to start playing it, and so he spoiled it. He's like, Matt, I can't believe that Zelda or Sheik is Zelda. I was like, I just started playing. I was so mad.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I just thought it was cool. Sheik's like, Zelda's like this ninja warrior thing. And I don't know. Some people don't like it, apparently. I found out, but I like it. I think it's cool.
No, I think it's awesome. Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No, because I'm very much of the same mind of like Zelda being more involved. Like I'm always for it. Yes. And I thought it was just like a really cool concept. Yeah, no, I agree.
Well, because she was always so mysterious, even in the first one. I mean, I guess you save her or whatever. I just always felt she was mysterious and interesting. I loved in A Link to the Past when you saw her at the beginning. And so the fact that she's like powerful is great. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our ones we don't like. I'll go right back to Ocarina of Time. Hey, listen. Navi. That character. I get why they did it, to help you out and all that stuff. But the way that is implemented, it's so irritating. Quickly. Even though I like the character actually isn't that bad, but the way that she interacts with you is so annoying because it's so repetitive. I think if they had more space, that they could have done more dialogue. That would be. I just gave Maximus Prime PTSD, I think, from Navi. But
yeah, I mean,
yeah. I didn't. When I very first started playing it, it wasn't a big deal. But after I've been playing it a little bit, I was like, "Can you turn this off?" Listen, hey. So irritating.
Yeah, it was bad.
Who do you not like?
Yeah, I would agree. Like when I was coming up with this list, everybody that popped in my head, it wasn't any horrible villains or awful people. It was all just the characters that are irritating.
Grating.
Because I feel like I can get on board with evil, but the two things that you can't be to me are irritating or boring. Yeah. Right? Those are the two things that I can't.
Yeah.
I can't excuse.
It's not interesting.
No, it's not. Although looking at this list, I suppose there's one other thing that you can be, and that is a capitalist. Tom Nook, man. Stop shaking me down for more money. What do you mean?
In the newer
you
ones.
Need another? What do you mean you need another 90,000 bells?
Yeah.
180,000 bells. I already gave you so much. I have built this island from the ground up. You all would have nothing without me.
Tara was going off about this too the other day.
What is wrong with you, my dude?
Yeah.
And he's just so... he's so Weasley. I know he's a raccoon. He's so Weasley, and I don't like him. And then the other character that was a nightmare in the first Animal Crossing game for me was Mr. Resetti. I do not load up a game.
Yeah. The guy
to
with
be
the pickaxe.
screamed at. Yeah. So the thing was, they didn't want you turning off the game without saving, and you had to it was a process to save.
That was
and
irritating.
It was irritating, and also it was a way of you kind of sort of got to cheat a little bit, Because if something bad happens, you could just reset the game and the bad thing didn't happen. And then the game yelled at you for doing that. And I remember there's one part where like every single time you do it, you get like a different reaction and it like escalates as time goes on and he makes you start doing like tasks and stuff to like repent at a certain point. And then there's also a part where, and I can't remember the details if it's like he tries to tell you that he's going to erase your file or like it was like something like that of like it and like cuts out for a second and like makes you think that it's been deleted. And I got that interaction after, because it would occasionally reset intentionally on purpose, as everybody that played that game did. But the time that I got that, and like that moment of like I actually thought that like my game was screwed up, was after there was a storm and there was a power outage.
Oh.
And so I had lost power. And so it wasn't my fault. And I was like so ticked off that I'm like, I didn't even do anything. And it was super frustrating too, because it was, I don't remember if it was in real life or if I had been playing with the calendar, but in the game, it was Halloween. It was the first time I had been Halloween. And I was working on trying to get like the Halloween furniture. It was like my number one goal. And I had gotten a bunch of it and the power went out and I lost all of it. And then this asshole pops up and tells me he's going to delete my
Rubs
game.
it in. Salt in the wound.
I was so mad. And I hate that character. And in the new one, because it like autosaves, there's this like whole thing where it's like Mr. Resetti got fired from his job because it's like obsolete. And I'm just like, good.
Good, yeah.
I hate you so much.
He looks so mean too.
And he like would scream at you.
Mm-hmm.
Like actually scream. And then at a certain point, because after that, like I was just like, you are my number one op in life. You are my enemy and I will take you down. And so I used to like reset on purpose to take him off. And at a certain point, he just gets like sad and gives up. And like, it's kind of hilarious. Because he's just like, there's nothing I can do. You're just going to do this, aren't you?
That's funny.
And it's like, he's so defeated and it like gave me so much joy. I hated that character so much.
Well, overcoming them is nice. So my next one, after we talked about it a show or two, a couple shows ago, I went back and I tried Bubsy again. And it still is awful. I actually think the first one's better than the second one. But there's just nothing redeeming about that character. This one maybe we do hate. He is so annoying. So annoying. And the things he says are dumb. And like, I was playing the second one and if you run into the wall or something, he like stops and there's this long animation that happens. They were definitely trying to make it like an interactive cartoon. And they just did a really awful job. Really terrible. And that character is so annoying. And I hope he's less annoying in Bubsy 4D that's coming out. Although I kind of doubt it.
We talked about that. And at the time I was like, I don't know what that is. And then afterwards I looked it up and I was like, oh, I just like erased this from my memory. Like it was traumatic and I blocked it out. It was so bad. Cause like I looked it up, it's like, oh no, I do actually remember this. And I remember it being horrible.
Yeah, and like I just don't get how it got through QT or QA and QC and all those different steps. I don't understand how it got through the process unless they can't have just gone through, because then they did a sequel and then they did it in 3D and now it's apparently in 4D, which I don't get. But
who asked for this? I don't think anybody.
Like, who did? Yeah, is there a Bubsy fan base somewhere out there?
I want to talk to the person. I want to talk to the person who pitched this.
Yeah.
I have questions.
Let's make another Bubsy game. So, I don't know. Just a terrible, terrible game, terrible character. All right, your next one.
So I'm going to skip around on my list, I think, because I want this person, I think, to be last. So next one is I'm going back to Dragon Age and going to Origins. And I'm going to talk about Logan for a second. Because when I played Origins for the first time, I immediately disliked Logan, right? Because you're supposed to, because he, causes the death of King Kalen and like he's after you and he's very, very clearly the bad guy. And I was like, oh, you suck, you're the villain. Didn't have like strong opinions on it. And then I went and I read all of the books. And specifically, there are a couple books that are like prequels, and it's following Logan, like in his youth, and like how he came to be where he is. And like that just makes it so much worse, because there are these like deep loyalties that he's supposed to have to, you know, the generation before and like all the people in these stories. And I get that it's supposed to show that like war changes people and it's a matter of picking the lesser of two evils and everything. And I kind of don't care, because in the books I was reading and I was like, you're such a cool, interesting person. And then you turn into what I see in the game. And it also irritates me when like you've got a really interesting, complex character, but like you shove all the interesting, complex like aspects in supplemental material, and like we don't get to see it in the game.
Yeah.
And so it's like this double-edged sword of like, you now tick me off more as a human being, and like your betrayals hurt worse. And I'm like irritated about the fact that I didn't know that when I played the game. Because why wasn't it at least hinted at? Like, you didn't have to go into the full backstory, but like it should have been. You could have been a such like cooler character than you were, and so
missed
why weren't you?
Opportunity
Type of thing. Yes, and it like makes me wonder if like, and I mean the Dragon Age lore is all over the place, so who knows? But I'm like, did you have? Surely you had his backstory when you made the game. Maybe it wasn't as like fleshed out as, you know, the novels, but like. I don't know, but it just, you could have been so much cooler, and it would have made decisions and origins that felt relatively easy for me to make more difficult. And I do think Dragon Age got a little bit better about that as like time went on, and then like worse about it in other ways. But he's just a character that's like so much missed opportunity, and it pisses me off every time I think about it.
I feel that. I love listening to you talk about Dragon Age. Because you're passionate about it. Seriously. It's fun. I love listening. You know that. I love listening to people talk about things that are passionate about.
Do you remember that I made that entire website
for
one of your assignments?
Yeah.
That was just about Dragon Age.
Yes. I do remember that.
I wonder if that's still... I've still got any of that anywhere. I bet it, yeah.
I could probably find it somewhere, because you turned it in.
I did.
That's funny. No, but seriously, it's fun. I always like to hear people talk about things you're passionate about, and you're obviously very passionate about that series. It's great.
Awesome.
I
love the games. Yes. I hate the games.
You love them and hate them?
Yes.
Yep. I feel that. Well, this is good, because going into our last round here, and it's my last character, although I skipped one in the NPC, I think, but Slippy in the Star Fox series. That character is just so worthless, and the way that they talk is so annoying, and I just don't. I love Star Fox, and then you have Falco too, who could be maybe, I don't know. Falco's just mean, like he's constantly mean to you, like he just says mean things about your abilities to fly and shoot things. And then you have Slippy, who just can't do anything. So it's just weird, annoying mix. But don't get me wrong, I love Star Fox. It's one of my favorite series. I hope we get a new... There's a Nintendo Direct tomorrow, apparently. Yeah, I saw it came up on my YouTube earlier. So I'm going to make sure that's correct while you do yours. But yeah, coming up for sure. All right, what's your last one?
All right, rounding off with the character that truly elicits the most amount of rage for the stupidest level of like transgression is Nazim from Skyrim. I hate him so much for like not great reasons, but every time that I walk into Whiterun and I have to hear "get to the Cloud District often," what am I saying? Of course you don't. I'm just like, oh, he's so pompous and irritating and not earned in any way. Like, he's not a useful, helpful, important human being. And he just sucks so much. And I do not think that there's been a single time that I've played that game that, like, one of my first objectives is not get rid of Nazim. Like, it truly is, like Maximus was talking about PTSD. Every time I hear the Cloud District line, like, I just immediately get angry.
Listen!
Like, unproportionately angry.
That's funny. Yeah, I feel that.
Ugh.
And it's not tomorrow, it's the day after. 9/12.
9/12.
At 8 a.m., 6 a.m. Pacific. That's really early.
I will not be up for that.
Yeah. Well, you can watch it later. Hopefully it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'll catch it later.
Hopefully Metroid 4 drops, like, that day. It's not going to.
Yeah.
But I would like that.
But that would be awesome.
And an Ocarina of Time remake, Nintendo. Hit me up with it. New people have to experience the, hey, listen. I would really like a remake, though. All right, well, this was fun.
That would be great.
Just the two of us.
Yeah.
Two-person show. Haven't done this in a very long time. But anything you'd like to say before we head off into the sunset?
I don't think so. I'm hoping, if my schedule stays the way that I think it's going to stay, to actually make some actual progress on Expedition 33. And if nothing else, I intend to grow my little lamb cult a little bit more before I see you again next week.
I just love that you can say that.
It's so much fun.
Gonna grow your lamb cult. I mean, what can be better? Right?
I mean,
ending on the lamb cult. So this week, hoping to play some more DK Bonanza, hoping to play some more Forbidden World. Gonna be more excited for the concert I'm gonna go see in a couple of weeks, and be fun to, of course, do the show next week. So thank you all for listening to the game show, and we'll see you same time next week.